Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show, and I'm MKT. This is Gareth Cliff. If you're not listening on the podcast, can't help you. You've got to go to YouTube to see that Gareth Cliff is really a silent co-host every night. Some guy called Gareth Cliff, great hair, never changes. Some people are accusing him of actually clipping it onto his head like Lego, and I can't confirm or deny that. Right? I'm not going to get involved whether Gareth has clip-on hair or not. Gord Law says it's Lego hair. But I'm not going to cast those sort of aspersions. Anyway, physical distancing, Gareth is sitting about 45 meters behind me, standing on top of a radio. I will let you make of that what you will. I'm MKT, the MKT Show. Tonight, we are going to talk. Listen, I've been listening to some really interesting interviews regarding Arsenal. And I kind of did my rant on Arsenal last week, but I think I probably have to say it once more because I think it is a seminal moment for them now. Like you make some choices in life, and I think I'll make it pretty clear that Arsenal are now at a point where they've got to make some strong decisions. And then I'll give you my pet peeve. There's a pet peeve I have in sport. Right, my favorite sport is, or one of my favorite sports is Test cricket. Right, is something happened this week with somebody who is. People say he's legendary. I'm on the fence about him. I think legendary is a title that should be reserved for people that have done the exceptional. I'm not sure if, I think he feels that way to people, but we know our feelings are not a good way to make any decisions. Or I think, anyway, is feelings are never a good reason to make a big decision in your life. So legendary is strong, but he did something again in the test match that's currently on in Australia. And I've never understood. All right, we'll get into all of that. Sport at cliffcentral.com. I'm MKT Inspires on all social media. Otherwise, Cliff Central Sport on all social platforms. Cliff C Sport on the Tweet Monster. All right, for this Thursday, let's get into it. The Arsenal last night, another red card, another lack of discipline, and it's no longer a trend now. It's what's happening. There's something wrong. Right, in any organization, if people come late, if people come to work drunk, if people aren't making sales, there's a problem, and it's institutional. It's not just the people. Like, culture's hard. You have to be very deliberate about culture. So if you're in a family, you understand. Is if you want to have a close-knit family, it has to be non-negotiable. Hey, 6:45. We're all sitting at the dinner table, right? That's not going to happen on its own. Not in this time. Too many distractions. Kids now, they want to be playing Candy Crush and, I don't know, Minesweeper or whatever it's called, right? Like, if you don't take control of situations and you let life happen to you, we're all victims, right, in life, is that we will always pander to comfort. Now, building a culture is not comfortable. There's a great adage in life, right, is in order to remake himself, man will always have to suffer because he is both the sculptor and the marble. If you want to remake yourself, whether personally or in business, it has to be painful. Again, you are both the marble and the sculptor. So it'll hurt either way. There is no choice when you're looking to remake and rebuild yourself. Personally, business, whatever it may be, relationships, you know how hard it is to redefine and change from old habits. But you have to be deliberate. A statue doesn't just make itself. You got to be super deliberate, right? Culture, you have to be super deliberate. So we all make choices in life. We pick our friends. We pick our lifestyles. We pick our mentors. We all make choices in life. Now, I'm not talking about you're born into an abusive family or you're destitute. Right? We cannot choose where we are born. But once you are living a middle-class life and upwards by global standards, we all make choices, right? You can choose your friends. You can choose your lifestyle. You can choose who your mentors are. You can choose what you watch. You can choose whether you exercise or not, right? You can choose these things. These are all choices. Life is not happening to you, right? And if it is happening to you, I can't help you. Nobody can help you. Life's not happening to you. You're in total control of your life outside of people who are, come from an abusive background, or you are clinically diagnosed with some sort of depression, right? Then listen, that's off the table. But those are the edges of society. Clinical depression is in the single percentile. So Not everybody's depressed. And again, take it from me. I spent my 20s being a lazy, spoiled brat. Being a lazy, spoiled brat doesn't mean you're depressed, folks. I'm sorry. But we all make choices. And the choices you make, right, are going to affect who you are and what you become. Like, I can't help you. People say I'm narrow in life, but I can't help you beyond that. The choices you make, once you're middle class and above, if you haven't had an abusive upbringing, if you're not clinically depressed, the choices you make in life will define who you are, right? Because you're not the things you say, you are the things you repeatedly do. That's what you are. You are the things you repeatedly do. And the things you do stem from your choices. Arsenal Football Club have been making bad choices for 18 years now. They let Arsene Wenger stay too long. And what happened was, because Wenger won a little bit with a great bunch of players, you know what happened? Is they forgot that, oh, wait, winning is something you have to be deliberate about. Just because Henry won for you, Henry doesn't live forever. He's human. Henry should have been, listen, you got to be planning for Henry's exit 2-3 years before Henry leaves. This is why Alex Ferguson was great. This is why Tesla is great. This is why Microsoft have dominated for so long, right? This is why San Francisco, you go to Silicon Valley, they're planning for 10 years' time, right? I read all these interesting articles about technology, and these guys say the technology in front of us now, your television, when you buy it from your favorite retail store, is a technology that's already out of date. So you buy the new Samsung QLED, it's already out of date because somebody in Korea, they're already playing with the next technology, right, that they'll be releasing in 4 or 5 years' time. It's actually already ready to go to the shelf. They just got to iron it out to make sure patent, blah, blah, blah. So Arsenal forgot that when you're winning, it's actually the best time to refresh, right? We all make these mistakes in life, and we make it in our relationships. We make it with ourselves, right? Is when things are going well, we never keep an eye on, maybe I'm letting 1 or 2 things slide. I'm getting up a little later. I'm snoozing my alarm. But things are going well. I'm killing it at work. Your girlfriend, your boyfriend, they're drifting a little bit. You're working too hard. You're coming, you're not having supper with your partner. It's fine. We're living in a great apartment. People drift. If you want to be successful, you have to be deliberate. And Arsenal have let life happen to them for 18 years. I'm sorry, but Arsene Wenger, if you want the glory in life, you have to take the ugly side. I have no time for you accept the glory and then the bad times is, oh, look what I did for you. I'm sorry. I live in a what have you done for me lately world. All my friends know this. What have you done for me lately? And take it from a guy who spent his 20s really a mess. I'm telling you for free, I had ruined all of my friends' relationships and the relationships I was in because I wasn't this guy, right? And that wasn't, I wasn't a victim. Back then I was, but I let life happen to me and it gets away from me, right? Arsenal Football Club have some decisions to make. And I think it's very clear what those decisions are. And if you're an Arsenal fan, you have to be honest and say, these are the decisions, right? Is Arsenal now in January have to pick? There are clearly 2 sides where they can go. You have to pick Arteta or you have to pick your players. Not halfway, you let some of them stay, you take it halfway. Folks, change is hard for anybody, right? Is if you're with a partner and they drink too much and their mother's too imposing on your relationship and she's jealous or he's jealous, these are things that you don't like, is you have to pick. If somebody's jealous now, early, while in the first 6 months you meet them, trust me, you marry that person, that's only going to be amplified to the final level. Get out of there. And it's a hard decision. You may love some of the person, and I've said this before, love is not enough. You have to make hard choices in life if you're a grown-up, right? In order to progress, you have to be cutthroat in order to really what you want to do is win. You can extrapolate that from the personal to the business. Arsenal have to make that difficult decision now. It is Arteta or players. And I'll tell you when you make that decision. December, make it now. Because you're going to have to spend another £200 million in January. You're going to have to spend £200 million in December. We're talking about a £500 million decision. And that decision shapes the next 10 years for Arsenal. Listen, it's clear to me now. The players don't want Arteta. You know why? Because you ever met somebody who's been coddled their whole life? I don't know if you, like, I know a lot of these people. I grew up in upper middle class Johannesburg. A lot of kids have never heard no. So often people with money, often people that are talented, never hear the word no. And I've often heard that no is the most powerful word in the dictionary. Like Arsenal's players under Wenger never heard no. Spoiled brats, and it's always player-centric. That doesn't work. You cannot pander to brats. You cannot do it. Right? You cannot pander to brats. I always say this to parents. Be hard on your kids. A lot of people come to me, go, boarding school, is it hard? I say, yes. I say, my father was hard on me. I'm glad for it now. Didn't like it at the time. Right? There's an adage. Suffer now, right? Is you pay now, happy later. So you suffer now, happy later. Or happy now, you pay later. And that's always a problem in life. Right? It's all about delayed gratification. But let me tell you the players that have to go. And I don't mean at the end of the season. A lot of people are talking about end of the season, wait it out. Listen, Arsenal aren't going to get relegated. Relax. You can play Willock and the youngsters. Arsenal's players are good enough to come 10th. They've got a good manager. They've got a great academy. They've always had this. Arsenal's players are a cut above. You know, there's some cannon fodder in the Premier League. And eventually, I think we'll see after December, the fatigue sets in, the quality coaching comes in. But these players have got to go. And they've got to go in now. Now, the end of December, cut them. Don't play them. Pay them to stay on the bench for the rest of the season. Really, they're becoming a cancer for the football club. I'd say Pepe, folks, just admit you made a mistake. You know what? There is nothing worse. I have a friend, right? She's currently dating somebody. And I haven't heard complaints for the last 12 months like I've heard from her. And I told her on the weekend, I said, hey, I don't care now. Like, I don't care. You made a mistake. Right? He's good looking. He's nice. He's got a good job. But you don't like him. He doesn't like family. He doesn't like all of these things. So I don't care. Stop telling me. With Pepe, you made a mistake. Now, Arsenal, have the kahunas, have the chutzpah to say we made a mistake. Right? Because I'm afraid in life, you can't have it both ways. So let me tell you how it works and what Arsenal are getting wrong. All right. Is either you're uber talented and we give you more room, especially in sport and in business, or you got to have the best attitude in the room. You cannot have a rubbish attitude and not be performing. I'm sorry. Those aren't compatible. So either your talent is through the roof and we give you a little bit more wiggle room, or you've got the best attitude in the room. Pepe has neither. When I pay for 72 million pounds for you, I'm afraid you got to hit the ground running. Attitude is non-negotiable, and then the talent will come through. Now with Pepe, I'm getting a sulky player, and the talent's not coming through. Sorry, you made a mistake, and now it's a season and a half in. I'm sorry. Just Arsenal, man up. You made a 70 million pound mistake. Get 20 million pounds for him now in January, or sign a deal for the end of the season. But he's got to go. Right? He's sulking. No. For 72 million pounds, I'm sorry, I can't have bad attitude. Bellerin, he's got to go. He's got to go. He's not good enough anymore. And I'm afraid the attitude sucks. I can't go with that. I can't go with Bellerin and his social media and his sulking and he's pointing fingers at AFTV and the fans. Bellerin's meant to be a senior player now. He's meant to be getting the fans on board. It doesn't matter if the fans are criticizing you. They pay, right? The fans are entitled to say whatever they see because I've got news for Hector Bellerin. When he leaves Arsenal, those fans are there for the next 60 years. He is not Arsenal. It is not Bellerin FC. So you take whatever the fans have to say because they love Arsenal. They don't love Bellerin. If you're not playing well, they care about Arsenal. And for him to be fighting fans on the internet, get out of here. So he's got to go. Granit Xhaka, I'm sorry. Listen, the first incident, if you don't know what happened, is he went off the field, kind of zapped the fans after another horrible performance, and they were booing. Sorry, but he's done it again, and the fans, luckily for him, they aren't any fans. But we can't have it again. Listen, second chance. You don't get second chances. He got a second chance, and now he's going to cost Arteta his job, and now it's another discipline problem, and now it's another division with the fans. Arsenal don't need that. Xhaka's got to go. David Luiz, he's got to go. He's got to go. He's fighting with the manager. Young managers don't need problems. He's a senior member of the squad. Ideally, you'd like him quiet, uniting the squad. You don't need Luiz after Arteta gave him another contract to be a solidifier, get the dressing room together. You don't need Luiz dividing the dressing room. So he's got to go. And this last one might sound controversial. I've always believed the bigger the show, right, the less the ability. And I've always wondered why Dortmund let this guy go so easily in January for 70 million pounds in a time when strikers cost 120. I didn't get it. Harry Maguire is a 90 million pound player. Dortmund just let him go so easily. I'm seeing why now. Aubameyang's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to go. Listen, folks, stop paying talent in this world. You know, we all get enamored with talent. I know a million talented people. Or like, let's say I know 10 talented people, right? Maybe one of them are the real deal. Because I don't care about talent. Hard work's going to beat talent all the time. Character's going to beat talent all the time. Dortmund saw that. They're like, oh my goodness, let's jump off this train. Because all the stuff you're seeing now about Aubameyang, Dortmund had seen that. So they couldn't believe they were getting 70 million. And trust me, Arsenal knew the problems, but Arsenal were really in no position to say no to a player with the ability of Aubameyang. Here's the problem. You pay talented people with no character, at some stage, money will make you more of who you are. What Aubameyang's showing you is he's a brat. You know what brats like? We call them front runners. Brats like the world when it's going their way. Aubameyang, 70 goals. Arsenal, no expectations. He came in the most goals, I think, scored in the Premier League since he arrived, right? He scored the most goals. So that was going well until the beginning of the season. Now the new manager bounce is gone. Now he's got to dig deep. Now he's got to call out teammates. Uh-oh. But he's the captain, right? And again, in life, what are you? You are the choices you make. You're not the things you say. This is the fourth captain Arsenal have got wrong. Since Mikel Arteta, they haven't had a captain. I'm sorry. Aubameyang is not the captain of Arsenal. Right? He could be captain at like PSG, where football is second, really, right? Yeah, send him to Lyon, PSG, some of these clubs, where football's not the big thing. You can't have, right? When you, listen, I saw Tony Adams, I saw Thierry Henry, I saw Patrick Vieira. Football first. Aubameyang's got to go. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Arsenal are going to lose to Everton, Chelsea, and Brighton. Just swallow that bitter pill now. They're going to lose those 3 games. At best, they draw to Brighton or it's something close. There's going to be a red card. But they'll lose to Everton. They'll lose to Chelsea. Right? Settle down. Choose Arteta. Don't choose the players. Get rid of Pepe, Bellerin, Xhaka, Aubameyang, Luiz. Do that now in December. Go with the youngsters. Because at this rate, you're coming between 8th and 12th anyway. Go with the youngsters. Reboot. 200 million pounds you'll spend in January. 200 million pounds at the end of the year. And then you refresh. It's Arteta's club. And I'm afraid at the end of next season, if Arteta hasn't got it right, at least you've established a culture. At least you've established a culture. And you know what all cultures need to be? Forget about winning. Winning is hard. Winning is hard, right? Winning is an outcome. Culture is not built on outcomes. It is built on systems and processes. What you've got to do is allow Arteta the only culture that matters in the world. Tell me about operations and all this nonsense and synergy and blah, blah, blah. That's all rubbish, right? That's all candy floss. That's all icing. Give me the cake. The only thing that matters in culture is excellence. That's all. The rest is icing. If you can establish a culture of excellence, not too many rules. I'm not a rules person. My one rule, don't be late. That's what Arteta doesn't strike me as the too many rules guy. Just don't be late. Get your attitude right. You're a Arsenal football club. The only thing that matters in culture is excellence. Arsenal are nowhere near it, and Arteta's trying to establish that. And the brats that are at Arsenal that got away with it under Wenger, that got away with it under Unai Emery, now don't like the pushback. Trust me, I was a brat when I was younger, so I know when I see it. And we got to, again, Arsenal made a horrible decision by making Aubameyang the captain and paying him that money. Listen, when you negotiate as Arsenal, you cannot be held prisoner. Listen, you think anybody's holding Chelsea prisoner? There's not one player in the history of the league that's held Chelsea prisoner. Because Roman Abramovich tells you, here's the money. Do you want to play or not? No, you don't want to win? Get out. Fergie, Jaap Stam tried to hold him prisoner. Van Nistelrooy tried to hold him prisoner on the contract. The agent talking in public. Paul Pogba tried to hold Man United prisoner at 19, right? His agent. Fergie said, there's the door, by the way. Don't let it hit you on the way out. Because it's all about culture. It's not about talent. Under Fergie, it wasn't about talent. Beckham, go. Stam, go. Van Nistelrooy, go. I don't care, Fergie says. Roy Keane, even, the greatest player Manchester United have ever had, Roy Keane. You're starting to talk out against Man United? Go. And Keane was still a beast at the time. But get out of here. Culture's about excellence. It's not about talent. You can add talent once you've established the culture. What's the culture at Arsenal? There is no culture because the players are in control. Do not let entitled, because all sportsmen are brats. All sportsmen think they're the best. And then when you pay them, Mesut Ozil, then you pay them, right? Aubameyang, then you pay them. David Luiz, look what's happening now. He's not talking to the manager as we speak. Stop paying talent. Wherever you go, don't pay talent, pay production. Seek culture wherever you go. Culture's hard. And folks, the foundation of anything about culture, when people start to talk about synergy, blah, 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 that's got nothing to do with culture. The only foundation that matters is excellence. Mikel Arteta is trying to do that. Choices define who we are, folks. You are not what you say. And Arsenal, remember when they moved to Emirates? What did they say? That was 10 years ago. We're going to compete with Bayern Munich. Okay. Well, my grandmother used to say to me, my boy, I see better than I hear. Stop telling me that you've taken the rubbish. Stop telling me that you've taken a bath. I can see the dirt on your knees. Right? I can hear you telling me that. Show me. An ex-girlfriend of mine had a wonderful saying. Right? I would say, I really do love you. My behavior was a little erratic. But she used to say, no. Stop telling me you love me. Show me. So Arsenal, stop telling the fans you love them. Stop telling them you're making the right decision. Show them. For once, pick a manager. You've made bad decisions by letting Wenger stay too long. Unai Emery was a terrible pick, right? Aubameyang was a terrible captain choice. That is very clear. Aaron Ramsey was not the greatest captain choice as well. Jack Wilshere stayed too long at this football club. Sorry. People don't like to hear it. He stayed too long. Those are all Arsenal decisions. Hey, your choices will define you. Arsenal have been making bad decisions for 17 years. And don't be surprised now that you're getting relegated or you're in that mix. That's not Arteta's fault. That's a cultural problem because you know what the excellence or the culture at Arsenal is? Mediocrity. It's been mediocrity for a long time. The day Arsene Wenger said fourth place is equivalent to a trophy, that was your culture. Mediocrity. And the problem with mediocrity is you can't keep an eye on it, right? Even in times of excellence, all companies, you go to Investec, you go to HSBC, you go to Tesla, even within those 1% type of organizations, there's mediocrity. Now, it'll get flashed out because systems are great at flashing you out and you got nowhere to hide, but it exists even with that. Now, when you have a mediocre culture, oh my goodness. Can you imagine when the... So let me tell you how a great man says it. This great guy I know. Is he says, repeatedly winning. Everybody always talks about, what's the potential? What's the ceiling for this company, for this person? No. What you need to do is make sure that on your bad days, the floor is raised. So nobody can be a 10 or a 9 every day, right? But what you want to do is never be your ceiling is a 10, but your floor is a 1. You can't have that. You can't win with that. What you want ideally is maybe your ceiling is an 8.5, your floor is a 6. That's where excellence lies. Can you deliver a 7.5 every single day? Over and over and over. Problem with Arsenal is their potential is a 9 and their floor is a 0. You just, that's not culture. Excellence doesn't live there, right? Because excellence cannot abide chaos. And I'm afraid, excellence is a concatenation of good decisions. Small decisions you make every day. And the great tight end, the Hall of Fame tight end, Shannon Sharp, who's somebody I love, has a great way of putting it. He says, greatness is a price you must pay daily. Well, Arsenal, it's been 17 years of bad decisions every single day. And this is what you get. So for me, Arsenal, go and pick Arteta over the players, get rid of them now, and just suffer it now. Because the next 2 years are going to be hell, whether it's with Arteta or the next manager. You're going to have to rip the squad apart and change the culture. And culture is painful. In order for man to remake himself, he must suffer. It is unavoidable. Suffering is unavoidable if man wants to remake himself, because he is both the sculptor and the marble. Sorry. You got to be deliberate. Culture, to rebuild culture, you must be deliberate. And by the way, to trim the fat, you have to be ruthless. Now, Arsenal haven't showed me that for 18 years. I don't see them starting now. Folks, they're going to lose. They are going to lose to Everton, to Chelsea, and to Brighton. That's going to happen. Arteta's sacking should be off the table. Those 5 players again, Pepe, Bellerin, Xhaka, Aubameyang, and Luiz, they got to go. They got to go in December as well. That's what I'd do. Let Arteta run the club. Love to know what Gunners fans think. All right, I just want to finish off with something. This will be quick. So I love Test cricket, right? And couldn't celebrate more. There's a great test going on, Australia, India. But I saw one of the most needless things in the world today, like star player Virat Kohli. Everybody says he's legendary. I like to pump the brakes on that. Maybe he takes India to a World Cup win, or a big series win in Australia, or maybe you go to England and win a series there, Virat. 5 test series. I'd like to maybe see you do that before I start calling you legendary. He's a bit of a stat pad. All of his runs are at home, comfortable. Doesn't do well in Australia. Doesn't really do well outside of that century in South Africa. Doesn't do great. By the way, you got to win, right? The great thing about Sachin Tendulkar is, he made 200 in a one-day game. It was a home World Cup win, but still led them to a World Cup win. So Virat, I don't know if you can call Virat Kohli legendary. His stats are legendary, but I don't know what are his legendary moments, or what has he done. But okay. So today, there is no need for run-outs in Test cricket, by the way. Moreover, there is no need to be run out in Australia. Have you seen the size of those grounds? Like, there are singles all over the place if you grind a bowling lineup down, right? It's not a T20 game. Like, what is the rush? So in Australia especially with those hard pitches and that kookaburra, you can just block the ball into gaps all day. You don't have to take every single in Australia. It's the most unique place in the world to play cricket. The grounds are massive. There is no way, if you bat into the 3rd session, you should be worrying about quick singles. What was Virat Kohli? What are they doing? What is going on there? It is an absolute mess. So there should be no need for singles, quick twos, a quick turn on the 3rd where it's going to be close, where the bowler or the fielder has the ball in his hands and he's throwing it in from the boundary. What are you doing? I've never understood runouts in Test cricket. Maybe people can help me. Rotating the strike, I get that, but come on now. There's plenty of ways to be patient in Test cricket. And I mean, nobody's Shane Warne anymore. Like, he's the only guy I know who used to bog people down properly as a spinner, right? He used to put serious pressure on people. But what's going on with Virat there? What is the rush? So if you saw that, or if you haven't seen it, just go and take a look at that. And I'm at MKT Inspires on social media. Hit me up. Like, am I crazy? Runouts in Test cricket are really the most ridiculous thing in the world. It is ridiculous, especially in Australia. Never been big on Virat Kohli. Never been big on him. I think he's, you know what? I love players getting paid. I'm happy for him, but he's not a legend. Like, Sachin Tendulkar had so many career-defining innings in England, in Australia. You remember that great series where him, Dravid, and VVS Laxman eventually really took that series away from Australia. That was an unbelievable. Now, that's a landmark performance. Virat Kohli's never done that. So I don't like legendary. Please don't be fooled by the stats. He makes all his runs at home. It's very, very comfortable. And quite frankly, batting now, all pitches are made for batsmen. So let's not get caught up in the, empty calorie numbers. Legendary is too strong, and I can't believe he got run out in the test match. What that does do is set up an incredible test match, though. I think there were 2-3-3 for 6 close of play. That is going to be some test match. That is, Marnus Labuschagne, along with Steve Smith, they're going to make it tough. See how that goes. I'm really looking forward to it. All right, folks, for today, Thursday, tomorrow I'll be back Friday 5. We'll close out the weekend. I'll preview some of the games coming up on the weekend. Cannot wait to be with you. For tonight, though, you could have been anywhere with anybody. You chose to be with us. I'm MKT. He's Gareth Cliff. This is the MKT Show. For now, we are the hell out of here.